Welcome. I'm Natalie Marsh. Real estate is all about relationships, and I'm here to help you navigate the journey. Whether you're a homeowner, buyer, seller, or simply love the topic of real estate, this podcast is for you. In each episode, I'll sit down with a friend and industry expert to bring you valuable insights on everything about homes. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's talk, learn, and grow together. Subscribe now and never miss an episode. Hi, my friends. Thanks for joining us again. I have with me Vicky McSweeney. She is a senior loan officer and a certified mortgage advisor. Hi, Vicky. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, Natalie. Thanks so much for having me today. What's interesting is the fact that all but one of the residential lending programs, which is VA does things a little differently. The other government loans, USDA, FHA, and then our agency loans, we qualify folks on their gross wages, not their net take-home pay. So that is part of the consultation to show them these are the numbers, this is how you qualify. And especially if they're pushing or they're at the cusp, it is my responsibility to ensure that they fully understand what they can and cannot do. But I believe that there is always the agent, we bring them into that component, you know this, Natalie, that if we need to remind them periodically, we do that. We do it together. That relationship, that collaboration, working for them, assisting them, helping them every step of the way, I think is critical, but also helps maintain that that outlook of we're going to get this done, we're going to find a home, and it's going to work out because it works. The numbers work.
You mentioned a little bit, several different names there in regard to the loan types. And I think VA is very understandable where it's for the veterans. And it's a great program to help the veterans get into housing in the best possible way. And I love the fact that there's a program out there like that. USDA is specifically for agricultural. So
Yeah, it's outlying communities. So the USDA is for folks who have minimum investment to go into the transaction. Oftentimes, we do have to negotiate a seller credit towards closing costs and prepaids. The program does have restrictive debt to income ratio, which means that they're qualified based on the income they have and the debt that they're going to be taking on and anything else that they're obligated on. So the USDA loan, fabulous program, little money down. Cities ineligible. Many suburban communities outside of those cities are ineligible. And in order to determine whether or not the property is eligible, you have to go on the website. And that property has to be within the eligible area. FHA financing, also a fantastic program. And FHA was created to get more people into a home. So it has a more generous outlook on the debt to income qualification. So a little more leniency in that. And there's more leniency with the lower credit scores. So there is a loan for just about everybody. And we review that together in the analysis, why they qualify this or why they qualify for both loans, but overall, which is the either the most effective loan for them to get into the home, but the least expensive loan for them to proceed.
So another couple of names that are thrown around an awful lot is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Right.
Talk about what they do.
Yeah, so the Federal National Mortgage Association, and I don't have the date, I believe it might have been founded, if not in the late 50s, early 60s or so, was created first. And after that, it was the Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation. They are the conventional loans. They are the ones that create the ability for the lenders to offer financing because they create the guidelines, the rules for qualified mortgages. They are the ones that sort of dictate how we can proceed with financing. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are almost mirror each other with guidelines. So back in the day, they're the ones that created that front ratio, which was the proposed housing expense divided by the gross earnings of the applicants is the front ratio. And then it transitioned more so there's the debt debt to income, which is the proposed payment plus everything else on the credit report. All of this terminology really kind of stems from the industry and conventional financing. Back in the day, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they required 20% down, but they've evolved, they've changed. They have different guidelines for primary residence, secondary residence, investment residence. They're the standard rule makers of the industry. They require the private mortgage insurance with less than 20% down. And there's a lot to be said about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, but they're changing. We go through periods and cycles where they amend, update their guidelines. So one of the things that loan officers have to do is stay on top of all the guideline changes. But it is one of the more popular programs that are out there to get financing.
Fantastic. So as a first-time home buyer, what I'm hearing you say about this is that I should be working with somebody like yourself to basically understand the process, give you my information so you can help guide me on what I can and can't afford. So, maybe I've got champagne taste and beer budget dream, capabilities here,
Yeah.
but really making sure that I'm living within my means.
Yeah.
You're going to help guide me on the path to getting the right loan to help me achieve those goals.
Yeah, that's right. And it starts with every component of them. So, there are minimum credit score requirements. The government loans will go a little lower. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have what are called loan level pricing adjusters. So the lower the credit score, the higher the interest rate.
Oh.
And that's where we have to contrast and compare. And of course, it's all about educating the client and showing them what they qualify for and the why. So if somebody has an X credit score, I'll show them what the rate is for FHA financing and what the rate is and the private mortgage insurance quote is, if needed, under the conventional financing. And I believe that they need to see that. They need to know, and ultimately they decide what program suits them. Sometimes we do have to look at a more expensive program because of the fact that FHA, a lot of agents, all the agents now have minimum property standards. The minimums are reviewed by the appraiser has changed a little bit. But sometimes if we know a client is looking at a home and it doesn't quite meet FHA's minimum property standards, that we have to go conventional, and that gets them into the property. We review everything, and oftentimes plan A and plan B, and sometimes we have a plan C. And it could be based on ultimately the property that they find.
Vicky, thank you so much for taking the time today. I really appreciate everything that you've done and the conversation that we had. I'm going to make sure that all of your contact information, and so people can reach you, will be in our notes below. And please click on the subscribe button to understand when we have new episodes coming out. Thank you, Vicky.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Natalie. Thanks for having me. Take care.